All right. So, Mr. Kish, I saw your email and trying to understand what the concern is. I think we know what the concern is, but can you give us an overview?
Okay. Hey everybody. Looks like when we try to analyze the slope, we based on the Google Earth, we have your elevations map as well, but based on the Google Earth, we found out most of the areas still have a 40 feet deep pond, and on some areas you have 35 feet pond. But more or less, if you see on your slope, you can see the 2:1, 2 horizontal is to 1 vertical slope.
Yeah.
So which is pretty steep for a sandy soil without any retaining structures. This slope cannot be safe if you make any structure or any pavement on the edge of the slope. So we've tried 2 different techniques. The first one is retaining wall with ACIP piles, and which has been failed because if your ACIP piles are almost 3D distance, so the slope has been failed from the bottom of the piles. So I talked to Raj as well when I was inside. We were talking about the seat piles, so which is also like a bulkhead if you understand that better. So if we use 60 feet deep seat piles, then we can get a safe slope, and at the same time you can reclaim 10 feet because the slope is 2:1, so it is 5 feet below the the top of the bank. So with 1 feet or 5 feet below the bank, with 2:1, you can reclaim 10 feet. So in what I'm suggesting is in that 10 feet, you can have a trails or just a grass area, but don't put a pavement on within that distance.
Okay. So you're thinking that we could probably reclaim about 10 feet max?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about areas? Sorry, I'm going to type in some notes if you.
That's a 250 PSF.
Yeah. That's 10 feet grassy area.
But that's all around the lake. So that's kind of, initially we were trying to reclaim only one side of the lake.
Well,
yeah, if you don't want to reclaim, that's even better.
No, I mean,
you don't have to reclaim it.
That's good to reclaim more, but it's just at what cost? That's going to become the question.
I guess the question I have is, okay, so in areas, is a side slope subject to, let's say if we don't reclaim any, how far away from the top bank can we have it if we don't reclaim any? Because my concern is if you don't sheet pile it or stabilize it, over time, if I build a road, let's say 10 or 20 feet away from the current edge of pond, that is going to slough off.
Yeah, the thing is we have already been the slope is already been having a 2:1 slope because the slope has already been reduced capacity. So even if you don't reclaim it, slowly you will see on the edge of the pavement you will see a displacement over a run. So I would suggest that's why you have to stabilize the slope. Even if you don't reclaim it.
All the way around?
Yeah, all the way around.
Okay, even if there's no structure or any roads, anything built adjacent to it?
If you don't have any roads, and if you don't think, if you are not concerned about having erosion or having a slope stability issues, then you don't have to reclaim it. You don't have to stabilize it. But if you are concerned about losing the land as well as losing any much land due to the erosion, then you have to stabilize it.
What kind of buffer would we be looking at if we need to if we don't plan to sheet pile it or stabilize it? What kind of buffer do we need to be away from the edge of pavement to have a stable roadway or stable structure?
You mean with the seat piles or without seat piles?
Without sheet
piles. Without seat piles, it's hard to determine because like the depth of the pond is 40 feet.
Yeah.
So I can't, and with the water and everything, I cannot see the bed of the the pond, and even the Google Earth or Google Maps, is not showing me, how bad is the bed of the the pond. So it's hard to predict. It's hard to predict. It's gonna last how many years.
Yeah.
Then let me, Rami just got here. Let me bring him kind of up to the point here to make sure he's not missing anything. So what we talking about here is because the
Sand.
pond is 40, 50 feet, 35 feet deep. You were suggesting that we need to put some kind of sheet metal, sheet piles all the way around the lake, and we have to go 60 feet deep and to reclaim about 10 feet of lake from the boundary. And I think a question that Dan asked, that if we don't do any kind of a sheet piling, how far away from that bank can we be before we could build a road or a structure?
The soil stabilized.
So would we stabilize? And the answer was we don't know. Is that correct?
Yeah, the answer is we don't know for sure because the slope itself is not safe because it's a 2:1 slope. Stable slope is more than 3:1 or 4:1. So every 1 feet of vertical, you have a 4 feet horizontal distance. That's the safest slope for the sand. So without any stabilization, the slope with a 2:2 horizontal to 1 vertical is unsafe.
Okay.
I mean, can we make an assumption, let's say in areas where we don't plan to have any type of improvement? Would you recommend a buffer like 30 feet or 40 feet or anything like that?
I mean, certainly, 30 feet is a good, rule of thumb, to make a pavement away from that without any stabilizing. But I would still suggest, you might have to,
Soil test.
throw out all those excavated materials because there are a lot of materials which has been thrown or piled up rather than, compacted. But still, you can compact it at this, and then, in certain years, you will see if there is any kind of displacement on the roads, you will see, the slope is failing. At that time, you might go for the slope stabilizing.
And what about this other pond? We're having the same issue with the smaller pond.
We haven't tested anything. We don't know anything about the smaller pond, do
Yeah,
we?
The smaller
No,
ponds, yeah, the smaller ponds is 10 feet deep, so it's not
Not an
nothing
issue.
major.
As
It's-
much of it.
Yeah.
Could potentially be, but may not be as big of a deal. But on average, you would feel comfortable saying about 40 feet from the edge of the big pond to where the soil may be stabilized enough to where we won't have to worry about much erosion.
Yeah, 30 to 40 feet is by rule of thumb. 30 to 40 feet is probably is a safer distance from the pond. But we need to say it. For right now, you can start with that. Later on, like if you see any signs of erosion, if you see any signs of displacing, if the road or any land is displacing towards the lake, then at that point you might go with the slope stabilization technique. If you don't want to proceed right now, because it might be expensive for you, using 60 feet deep seed piles.
And stabilizing it with the going 60 feet deep, is this something we could do in phases in certain portions, or is this something that you'd recommend doing at once?
Yeah, it's better to do it once, but if you don't have any structures, like if you are making any road in that section, you can make it so you can use the seed pile so that it is saving your roads. But on the other areas where you don't think, even if there is slope erosion or even if it fails, then you might just lose the lands, but like not the structures. Then in those stages, you might just do later. You do that as a priority, and the second one is a secondary priority.
Yeah, I think you'd want to do it in the areas that are quite adjacent to the road first, keep it stabilized, and then once you start getting into the construction, then you determine either you start somewhere that's substantially away from the large pond, or you start looking at ways to stabilize it before you start this construction?
I guess what Rami is getting at is, depending on how costly this would be, we may have to be able to say, okay, we build some, we bring the utilities in, we bring part of the road in, we build some houses,
Structure.
some townhomes and everything that are away from it. And that's as phase one. Then when we sell that, we'll be able to finance
Stabilize
and
it.
stabilize the lake in more than one phase. That's one option, or no, is best is we
I
have to
mean,
go ahead and stabilize the lake and be done with it, bring the utilities in, be done with it, bring the roads in, and then build
I
the,
guess what problems would we incur if we were to do it in phases rather than all at once?
I mean, only the problem is if you make any residences and the homes closer, I mean, within 80 feet away from the pond, like I'm talking like in the beginning, I'm talking about the roads, but if you are building any residences or multi-family homes within, 80 feet distance, then you might see a settlement on your homes, the homes
Foundation
like
problem.
this way.
Yeah.
So you will have a foundation problems later on. So that's why no engineers or the structural engineers or the geotechnists won't take any risk. They might write you without slope stabilization of the pond, the house might have a settlement.
And you're talking within the, what, 30, 40 feet from the pond?
I'm just using a safety factor of 2. So since your pond is 40 feet
Yeah.
deep, you might go 80 feet away. But if it's about the road, then you might be around 30, 40 feet away. You can have, because the roads have a loads of around 250 PSF versus residents, you will use around 1,000 to 2,000 PSF.
so to maximize the use of the land, just get as much real estate we can get back, would be putting the sheet piles all the way around.
Yeah.
Do you have
And
an idea
any-
of what that costs?
Yeah, my question was
Yeah.
exactly the same.
I also don't know. It depends on, later on, like once we recommend you seat pass, we give you the number. I mean, who is the material number. So based on that, you can contact the contractors and then ask, like, every contractors have their own prices, and then on, design methodology. So, based on that, you can ask for the other pricing, and you can search the pricing all around Houston. I mean, there are many contractors around.
So from what I had conversation with you earlier, Kish, that you were saying that, I mean, they probably could get these things done in a few days. It's just all the material, and then that's the expensive part of it, right?
I don't think it's a few days, Raj. I certainly don't think
Wishful
it's a few
thinking,
days
Dan,
worth of
wishful
work.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The labor part of it.
thing is, like, we drill up to 50 feet, so but still we recommend you up to 60 feet because it's 20 feet below the pond. Because we have seen the same kind of soils. I mean, the sands below 15 feet, or everything is sand. So if you don't hit any rocks or anything like that, it's going to be not difficult to push the piles back to 60 feet. If they hit rocks, then it might cause problem, and then that delays the construction phase.
Okay, well, I heard 50 feet and I heard preferably 60 feet. I don't know that 10 feet extra as a precautious, as
Is it recommendation?
Is it
or
a recommendation? I
mandatory?
mean, if it cost comes out to be so much that we say, my God, we need to save every foot, then you feel comfortable with 50 foot?
No, 50 feet, the thing is, like, we try to do the 50 feet, but with 50 feet, it's not safe. Otherwise, I will not give you any recommendation which
So it's
costs you.
a minimum of 60 feet.
Yeah, minimum of 60. You can go more than that if you have money.
Yeah. We don't have that. but-
Okay, so then we know it's going to be 60 foot.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Then I don't know what your thought is, but I'm thinking we probably need to at least get an idea of what this is going to cost, as putting the sheet piles all the way around, because eventually, I mean, we're going to need more land.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the the good thing is it stabilizes the entire area. But if you're looking at it from the
And
standpoint of
I'll tell you another solution. Another solution is, if you make the slope of the detention pond to 4:1, will you lose the land? then you might not need any stabilizing.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
spend money
have
to
a,
stabilize it or lose land,
get a very slope,
a slight
deep,
slope.
a
Yeah.
slight slope, yeah. Which, that means you really need to come out quite a bit.
So that means for 4:1, even 3:1 is if your depth is 40 feet, that's 120 feet.
Yeah.
In a
So
horizontal
this,
distance.
can you see my screen? This is what you're looking at, the offset. So you have to fill in the slope so that it drain, it slowly come
You
down.
fill in, you don't go out. So, hey,
You'll fill
that's
in.
not, then you're not losing land. It's not like so what you're saying, you bring a lot more
I mean,
dirt in to fill in, right?
you can do either way. You can cut it, you will lose it. But if you, the better option would be fill in. But the fill in, the thing is like you have to compact it, and it's very difficult to compact. And
Yeah.
have your equipment go on the lake, and they have to compact it in a 3:1. I'm not sure if they can do it.
Yeah. It's a lot of dirt and a lot of work.
Either way, yeah, either. If you come outward, then you definitely, you have the same size lake, you just a large, I mean, the slope is a slighter slope, but you lose a lot of land.
Mhm. Or at this point, I mean, I would say is at this point, if you are not concerned about, I mean, if you can move your roads at least 40 feet away from your current design plan, you might, have to, reduce your the number of homes and all of these. If you can do it, I mean, at this point, you might not need a stabilizing.
Yeah. Well, I think the main question that we still don't have an answer to, if we were, I mean, ideally, if money was no object, you would say, go ahead and do the sheet piles.
Yeah.
And all the way around, okay? But we don't know how much it's gonna cost. I think we need to get a number for that.
Yeah, if you get a number, then you might have a clear idea. I mean, you can weigh in either I will lose the land, or I will lose some houses and then go beyond 40 feet away from the pond, or do the seed pass, and later on, like 2 or 3 homes. If you have more, you can sell it high prices.
So then, Kish, please give us some ideas on your report as how many sheet piles and all those things, so I can pass this to contractors.
It's about
So I can
2,000 feet.
About 2,000 feet.
Yes, the perimeter of the pond is about 2,000 feet.
All right, so 2,000 feet of 50 feet, 60 feet deep sheet pile. So, I mean, that may be enough for someone to give you a number.
Yeah, you can search by yourself as well. Because you can show them a drawing, this one drawing, because there's an anchor, a 25 feet anchor. The more your exposed size of the sheet pile, is like after 5 feet, there's a 5 feet on one side exposed, and other side is embedded to the 60 feet. So if if it is more than 5 feet, then you might have more anchors. But in this example, you have 5 feet exposed size, and the other side is embedded to 60 feet. So if you show them at this drawing and then say, hey, my linear feet would be 2,000, then he will give you a price.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to be able to give me all this pictures or recording then, right? So just something that we can give to a contractor. Then, do you know a contractor that we can contact for this?
I don't. We don't usually deal with this.
I can ask like 1 or 2 contractors. I mean, I don't know if they are a primary contractor. They might be buying from somebody else and then sell you at high
Well, just
price.
somewhere to start. Yeah, somewhere to start to get an idea. Then
But I can get you, or I can get you the information of him, and as well as I can ask him the price and how much it costs. I mean, tentative price, so you can start bargaining with other contractors as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good to start.
Since I know right now, I know the linear feet, you might need a 2,000 feet. So.
Yeah, that's the range. That's gonna be a significant number.
Yeah, and I'm right now, I'm not sure like how much they will say. It might surprise me as well in my head. I mean,
60 feet deep. That's okay. I think that's all we need. You know, that's gonna make a big difference in how this project's gonna go. Because the cost is so significant. It's going to be significant. So if you can go ahead and wrap up your report and then provide us a contact or contact your contractor, give us a feel of what that cost is. I think that helped quite a bit.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. Any questions for us?
No, thank you both. Appreciate it.
That's it. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.